Soundbake. Hi everyone, welcome to Soundbake. Today we're going to talk about investing in yourself and in your brand, because as a self-employed person, you are a company, whether that's legally or not. You essentially function in the same way, and that is investing in the company, which is yourself. So I have 4 quick tips to start us off. First of all, you need a website. You're at a networking event, say, and someone's super interested in your work and they want to find out more, but you don't have a website. What do you say? Now, you could send them to a variety of other links, and then they might look through all of those different links, or they might get bored after the first, or they might not even bother because you don't have a website. Or you could send them to one place that has all of your work, and your work is presented in a way that you want it to be, so that you're giving out the right information that you need to be able to get clients that are right for you. Okay, so secondly, your website needs to look professional. It doesn't necessarily need to be a stunning website, but it needs to be functional. Going back to the same example, imagine that you've just sent the person from that networking event to your website, and they go onto it and you've really impressed them. Then they look at your website and they see blurry images with work that isn't quite finished. It's not the best representation of what you are capable of. Now, they're going to believe that the stuff that's on your website is the best work that you can do. If you're not representing yourself correctly and having a professional website that is functional, then you're potentially damaging your reputation just by having blurry images, rushed videos, crackling sounds, and you basically want to put your best foot forward when it comes to your website. So once you have your website set up, you need to go to those networking events, the things that I've already mentioned. You need to be in the place where the people that you want to impress already are, whether that's online, whether that's just a Facebook group. There are communities that you need to get involved in order to be able to put your name out there. It's like putting a company's branding out there, like having an advert on the side of Facebook. Putting your name out there just by being at these events, talking to people, engaging with people, that's the thing that's going to get people to trust you because you've impressed them. Then you send them to your lovely website and you impress them even more with your wonderful quality of work. Make sure that you're not keeping your work sat on a hard drive or in a cupboard or just anywhere that someone can't see it. You've spent so much time working on this, so you might as well put it out there. You might as well choose the best work that you've done and put it on your website. Now we've gone over the idea that you need a profile to be able to send to people after you've approached them. Let's go into a little bit more detail. One of the best and easiest ways to invest in yourself is to invest in how you spend your time. And the best way to work out how to spend your time is to plan. It's so simple. So what I recommend is getting a planner, a notebook, or even a whiteboard. I opt for a whiteboard. It's super satisfying once you've done something and then you can wipe it off of the board. The idea behind getting a notepad or a planner, whatever it is that you choose, is to work out what you actually want to achieve and write it down. It's very important that you write these things down. You can easily forget the things that you think are really important, and then the next day they are gone. What you want to do is plan year-long goals and then work backwards to the point in time that you are at. The things that you write down that you want to do this year could seem unachievable when you're looking at them as a whole because they are big goals. But to make things more manageable and to make sure that you actually hit these year-long goals, break it down into months, weeks, and then plan your days as well. A year-long goal could be that you want to work with 12 new clients this year. Now, that sounds like quite a lot, but if you break it down into a monthly goal, you're only working with 1 new person per month. Now, again, that's easy to say, and you think, okay, well, how do I meet these people? Where do I find these people? How do I convince them to be a client? But after you've then written down that you only need to be working with 1 new client per month in order to be able to achieve your yearly target, then you can break the monthly goal down into a weekly goal. That means that you can work out when you need to start contacting these people, when you need to find out who they are in the first place, and how you're going to build a working relationship with them which actually converts them into being a client of yours. Now, when you break things down into weekly goals, you definitely shouldn't be writing down the same amount of things that you want to achieve in a month in a week. And again, the same principle goes for a day. You shouldn't be writing down the amount of things that you want to achieve in that week in the first day. So when it does come to planning your day, pick 2 or 3 things that you want to achieve that day, highlights of your day, things that you 100% either want or need to do that day that cannot be done a different day. When it comes to planning your day, you need to do it the night before. Then you can block out your time daily. If you try planning your day on the day, you inevitably end up procrastinating without meaning to, but still thinking that you're working hard and still thinking that you're achieving a lot because you're doing tiny errands like taking out the bins or answering the phone calls that are coming in all the time. Whereas actually, if the night before you're blocking out time to do one job and then you block out another time to answer those phone calls or take out the bin, it means that you can actually focus on a task and get everything done rather than being interrupted in the middle of a task and potentially not being able to finish it that day because you've lost your train of thought. So now we're going to be talking about how to invest in yourself with money. It's definitely scary making a financial investment when you don't necessarily know whether you're going to get that money back in the future. However, as we just saw, if you utilize your time, you can get so many more things done, therefore saving money so that you can spend it on other tools that you need for your brand, or perhaps investing in luxury things that you could use to work better. So a couple of those things actually could be overlooked quite easily, but they do tend to make a difference when it comes to impressing new clients and presenting yourself in the best way possible. So here are the things that you could invest in that you might have overlooked. The first thing that you could invest in is a work email. So once you have your website, as we talked about at the beginning, having an email that matches the domain of your website, that does 2 things. One, it links back to your website because the domain name from your website actually now appears in your email address, which ties everything together and makes it look like a brand and a company, which is something that makes people trust you and your brand more, because if you invest in yourself, then they're more inclined to think that you have confidence in yourself and therefore that they should have confidence in you. Having a footnote at the end of that email then makes it even better when you can put your website at the bottom of the email and direct people straight back to your website. The second thing that having a dedicated work email does is that it helps you separate your personal emails from your work emails, meaning that when you come to planning your day and you're blocking out time, you can specifically allot time to answering your work emails versus answering your personal emails, which might have to be done at different times of the day, depending on your work hours and depending on your work ethic. Now, the second thing that you can invest in is a good chair. That sounds ridiculous, but it really is a vital investment for your health. If you're sat down a lot, you need to be sat in a position that is not going to hurt your back or your neck or your shoulders. You need to be comfortable at your desk so that you can maintain a level of work that actually means that you're hitting your goals every day, which means you're hitting your weekly goals, your monthly goals, and your yearly goals. Something else that you might have overlooked is buying a monitor that has the ability to filter out blue light. Now again, if you're in a position where you sit in front of a screen for 12 hours a day, you're going to be flooded with a load of blue light that actually can have negative effects on your sleep pattern, which then therefore means that you'll miss out on the vital hours of sleep that you need to be able to perform at your best and do all of the tasks that you need to do in a day the next day. Investing in a monitor that has the ability to filter out blue light, it might be called eye saver mode or something separate, means that when it comes to later in the day and the sun is setting and you are still working, you're able to turn on this mode, save your eyes from being strained, and hopefully prevent the negative effect that could be being had on your sleep pattern by working late into the night. Within reason, you are still working late at night. And unfortunately, filtering blue light cannot have any effect on the fact that you are reducing the number of hours that you are going to have to sleep because you are staying up late. Now, the final thing that's really important to invest in is your mind, is your mindset and your emotional stability. The best way to create a good portfolio of work is to know your craft, and therefore you might need to invest into educating yourself via a course, or maybe even just going onto YouTube or reading a book or asking a friend for help. Now, when you're going to create the portfolio of work that you're going to show on your website, you're going to want to make sure that it is the best that you can do. And if you feel that you're lacking in a certain area, invest in it. Take the time to improve your craft so that when you do show your website and your portfolio to people, you are making sure that you are showing yourself in the best light possible. Educating yourself doesn't have to be as stressful as it might have been when you were at school. It simply means taking the time to practice a skill. If you don't necessarily have the money to invest in a course, that is okay. You can continue to practice at home and try and gain as much information as you can from other sources, like your friends or your families or your peers. You also might be thinking that you don't necessarily have the time to invest in educating yourself, but this is where we go back to planning and buying that planner. If you allot time to learn, you can learn. If you make sure that you plan in even just a few minutes a day, 10 minutes a day to practice a skill, if you do that every day, over the course of time, your ability in that area will improve significantly because you are making an effort to do that one skill over and over again, therefore learning the potential pitfalls of that activity and learning ways to go around those pitfalls, therefore improving yourself and improving that skill. Another brilliant way to gain knowledge is to apply for internships and apprenticeships. They are practical ways of practicing the skills that you have in a real working situation, which means that you're getting the best of both worlds in that you're helping someone else with their work, and in return, they are helping you and coaching you in the craft that you hope to perfect in the future, like your mentor is doing at your internship or apprenticeship. So you now have your website and you have a plan in place with goals set for the entire year to get yourself out there. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to write an email that is going to get you the job. You might have the portfolio, but if no one sees it, why bother having it? So let's get our work out there and write those emails. Whilst you wait for that video, check out these tasty videos right here. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye.